Okay.
Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We want you to go ahead and jump on if you are on Facebook or if you are viewing this on YouTube. Make sure that you definitely share it out. Happy Wednesday again. We know it's hump day. It's hump day. I am Melanie Preston, clinical therapist and relationship architect. And I am so excited about what we are going live about tonight. So, if you are tuning in, make sure you share this because we're going to talk about some good stuff real quick, okay? All right, so I have two people with me that are absolutely special to not just myself but to our family. And I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves, and then we're going to kind of jump into what we're talking about tonight. So, guys, let me get you to go ahead and introduce yourselves. Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Jocelyn McLain, and I love to cook.
I'm
Yes.
Des. I am Desmond McLain. I am Pat and Mel's cousin.
Okay.
And we are family, and we just like to cook. We just like to entertain and to make folks happy through cooking. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there you have it. I am happy to have, and we consider them. They are chefs, absolutely in every meaning of the word. So tonight I have joining me Chef Dez and Chef Joss. We are talking about the Love Intentions box. Now, for those that do not know, the Love Intentions box was created by me as a clinical therapist that primarily deals with couples on a daily basis. And the reason it was created is because I wanted to be able to help couples have intentional experiences in their relationship, right? The thought is, we go on these extravagant vacations, we go to, we get the extravagant gifts, and I'm always saying to couples, hey, we don't build lasting intentional relationships with the extravagant dinners and with the extravagant trips. But
Mhm.
how we do build intentional relationships is with the things we do day in and day out that build intimacy, that build closeness within the relationship. So the Love Intentions box was created with that in mind. Now, the first box, which is dedicated to Valentine's Day, I have to give credit to one of my relatives who's also somewhat my manager at this point. Her name is Nicole. I'm not sure if she is on tonight, but definitely giving a shout out to Nicole, who really, as we were talking about the idea, said, hey, why don't you do a Love Intentions box for Valentine's Day?
Mhm.
And as we were tossing around the idea of that being an introduction to the idea of the Love Intentions box, it all came together, and we wanted it to be something that would give couples the opportunity to again have that intentional moment, that intentional date night, but be able to do that at home.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I I want to start with you guys with this, right? Because my husband and I, we have watched you both do the song and dance of being in the kitchen
Mhm.
together, right?
Right.
However, when you poll the people, a lot of couples will say, I don't really know about cooking with my significant other in the kitchen. What are your thoughts on that?
Want to go first,
No,
or
you can. You
all right?
can.
So when it comes to, so it hasn't always been like that. We've
Yeah.
we started off in the kitchen. Jocelyn actually taught me how to cook. I was more so kind of basic, microwave, pop, boom, let's go from that point. But then once I started learning how to just develop different flavors and everything, then that's when I started experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jocelyn and I, we entertain for family during holidays, and it was never a peaceful moment inside the kitchen because we would always kind of go back and forth with each other.
Mhm.
And I mean, literally, like we tell everybody when they come over, they just like, okay, the food is so good, this, that, or whatever stuff. And I would tell them, okay, you don't know what we had to go through before you all got here because we almost cut each other head off, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to things. But as time grew, I learned to stay in my lane, and Jocelyn stayed in her lane when it
Mm-hmm.
came to how we develop everything. So, there are certain things now where I'll say, okay, well, hey, you need to add this rab, and I call her Rabbit affectionately. Rabbit, you need to add this, and she'll say, all right, Bubba, you need to add this, and kind of go from there. So, it kind of drew from that point, and now we're at a point to where we can put together stuff and just mesh and just kind of go from there. We just learned to stay in our lanes, but then learn when it was time to veer over when it came to certain things. So
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Chef.
I would definitely echo what Des or Bubba said. I think everybody has a strength and a weakness when it comes to everything that you do in life. Cooking is no different. So when you're cooking as a couple, one person is going to outweigh the other when it comes to certain things, right? And so let that person shine, let them take it over, let them own it. But then at the same right, the other person may be stronger at another level. My husband is the meat guy. And it used to be at one point, I would get the seasonings together and he would mix things up. Now he does it on his own, but
Mhm.
we kind of learned how to balance the other person out. One thing that we don't like to do is use a whole lot of salt with our foods, and so we have seasonings from the farmers market. We have commercialized seasonings. We have we'll take those seasonings and mix it all together just to create a palette that is appealing to us.
Mhm.
Another thing that was our or is our love language is that we like to taste different cuisines and then mimic those cuisines, right? And so it
Mhm.
becomes a challenge for us because we are learning something new together, and
Mhm.
it keeps it different. But then also it keeps cooking. Um, it keeps cooking different on a different level, meaning that you're not coming mundane cooking the same thing over and over again. And
Mhm.
it makes it more interesting.
it appeals to your palate and it makes it very interesting,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm. And so
try.
I like the fact that you guys talk about, this song and dance, right? And finding your balance. And I remember one of the things we talked about when we were recording the videos was, I was asking certain questions about the recipes and the ingredients. And, Chef Dez, you were saying, well, you have to just kind of add a little, you get it to your taste. We're giving you the base, right?
Mhm.
And we were talking about how even in our relationships, it's the same way because everyone's relationship is different. And the seasoning, the ingredients that may work for this couple's palate doesn't necessarily work for another couple's palate. And
Right.
so knowing your palate, knowing the palate of your house, knowing the palate of your family,
Hmm.
and that dynamic is what gives us the ability to truly form the relationships we want to have, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And so
Right.
we're able to look at, even at cooking in the same way. So let me ask you guys this. Um, how do you think, or what is one thing you think you have learned in cooking together that has helped in your life as a couple?
I would say what I have learned with cooking with my partner is you have to trust the end product. So there's a process with cooking, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if your partner is saying, okay, I'm going to cook this, then you have to trust that they are going to take that beginning stage and carry it all the way out and produce something that's going to be a wow factor and something that, is going to be palatable and something that you're going to love. But I would stress that, just as simple as, allowing your partner to cook in the kitchen or even cooking with your partner in the kitchen and trusting what they're doing to the dish versus what you would do to the dish, that trust factor carries over into the relationship.
Right.
You know, I know he's not going to do anything to poison me. I know he's not going to do anything to give me food poison. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think the trust factor grows a lot more when you're doing things collectively as a couple. And that's the whole purpose behind building that framework in the kitchen for us. Something that we both love to do. I know if he comes home and says, okay, I want to try this out, or I saw this today, I think this might be interesting to try out. I trust it because I trust my partner.
So, so you learn trust.
Yeah.
So Chef Desmond, what are your thoughts?
So with that, I would say study your partner. Oftentimes we get so consumed in our own individual personal life. Understand something. Before we got married, we had our own individual personal life. And I think that's one thing that we hold true to is that we did this certain thing and that certain thing before we met our partner. However, what you want to do is once you meet that partner, you want to make sure that you study them and you learn exactly what their triggers are, what certain things are when it comes to it. Don't be so consumed within yourself that you lose sight of who you're with. Because understand something, you developed a life with somebody else. You decided to say, okay, hey, I want to build a life with this person, and I want to make things work. So guess what? If you're trying to make things work, just like you're trying to build a new business, just like how you're trying to build anything new, study that person and be in tune to what they're doing. And when you're in tune to what they're doing, they will see that you are in tune to what they're doing and you can make it work. You can mesh things. You can do this, do that, and they'll be like, okay, you know what? That person really knows me. They studied it. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm here to make your life better, and you're here to make my life better. And
Right.
that's how we do it. And it comes back to cooking. You tell me what I need to add, I tell you what you need to add, and guess what? We get together a good product.
Right. So here's one thing I've noticed, and I don't think a lot of couples have necessarily maybe caught on to,
Mhm,
is there's no way you can cook in a kitchen together
mhm.
effectively if you are not actively listening to each other.
Exactly, exactly.
Because
And
if
you
you
have
don't, you'll have a mess.
yeah, yeah. We get into this point to where sometimes no one can tell us this, and no one can say this to us without us getting offended.
Hmm.
Well, understand something. What we put together goes out to the masses. So I'm not going to put anything or tell you anything that's going to hurt you. And
Hmm.
hopefully you're not going to tell me anything that's going to hurt me. I'm going to be honest. So we had an interesting, and this is just a little side story
Okay.
for Thanksgiving.
I knew he was going to go there. I knew he was going to go there.
So I tried my luck at making a sweet potato pie.
Okay.
And one thing about Thanksgiving is that you have to call the ancestors when it comes to you have to call the ancestors when it comes to cooking something of that magnitude for family. And I made a sweet potato pie, and we had our spread kind of laid out and everything. And I had that sweet potato pie over. Melanie, I started seeing that pie turn green while it was sitting there. And I'm telling Jocelyn, like, okay, hey, something ain't right with that pie. This, that. She never said anything. And it was kind of funny. And I'm like, okay, you never, and I got so upset with her afterwards because we had fed everybody this, that, but nobody touched that sweet potato pie. And I'm like, okay, you never told me anything. And she never gave me a reason as to why she didn't. Like I told her, I said, hey, tell me what's going on with this. Tell me this, that. But she never felt at that point because we weren't on that level.
Right.
To communicate effectively with each other to say, okay, hey, this is what you could have done. This, that. As time has gone on, then it got better. And so now anything that we put out, people are eating. So yeah.
So okay. So let's talk a bit about the actual love intentions box. And of course this is our Valentine's Day edition. I did a live several nights ago, or several days ago, I should say, in which I brought out the box to kind of share the contents of the box. So for those that did not see that particular live, here are the contents of the box, because people keep asking, well, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah, we're getting that a lot too.
Yeah, so here's what is in the box. There are small candles so that you can set the mood for your table, for your spread. There is massage oil, and we know what you can do with the massage oil at the end of your evening. There's also a curated Spotify playlist. So we give you, a list of just kind of easy listening music you can have kind of going in the background. Now with the playlist, it has a QR code, and all you do is you just scan the QR code and it pulls up the Spotify playlist. I think there are a lot of good contents of this box. So there's also a set of 20 dinner conversation cards. Now I want to stop right here for just a minute, because I run into couples, and this was the reason why I was intentional in creating conversation cards that would be good, intentional, and not cause a fight at the end of a romantic night.
Right.
Right? Have you ever gone to dinner? You're supposed to be on a date. It's supposed to be nice and relaxed, and all of a sudden,
Conversation get real.
it takes a left. It takes a hard left,
Right,
right?
right,
Because you
right.
go back into some argument you had or never finished from a week ago.
Right.
So then we have our partner hostage in a car or in a restaurant, and we want to have this conversation that was not at the appropriate time. So the intentionality behind the dinner conversation cards was, of course, to promote conversation that helps you communicate more about just kind of where you are in life now, and just really listening in and tuning into each other. Because when you're out on a date, whether it's at home or not, that's not the night to pick a fight.
Right.
So we want to make sure that you are being intentional. I use the word intentional a lot. So wanted people to be intentional with the conversations they are having over dinner. And then lastly, we have these 4 dinner options. Now, with the dinner options, and I think this is super cool, and it could just be me, but for each of the dinner options, you scan the QR code and it pulls up this lovely video of you guys cooking the meal. They can cook, the couple can cook with you. There are several conversations we're having throughout that cooking phase, but they're able to pull that up and cook along with you. The backside of the card also has the ingredients. And then when you pull up the actual YouTube video, it not only are you walking with you guys through cooking the meal, but there are also those printed instructions and directions there as well. So those are the contents of the box. Now when we get to the cooking, Tell me how you guys decided on the 4 options and just kind of walk us through briefly what the 4 options are.
So one of the amazing concepts, and I think it's good that you thought of this idea with it, because it's a whole, the chatter of this whole box has been resounding when it comes to individuals that we have contacted through social media,
Mhm.
even individuals that we see on a personal basis, that follow us socially.
Mhm.
It's a resounding idea. And with the guys, their thing is like, okay, hey, it's giving me ideas to say, okay, hey, I don't have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money. I can do something romantic here at the
Right.
house and try to, just impress, and a lot of them are not even letting their wives know or
Mhm.
spouses know exactly what's going on. They're like, okay, hey, I'm just, I'm gonna just make it work. So with the options that we have, so we have a vegetarian dish, we have a
Mhm.
chicken dish, we have a fish dish, and we have a beef dish.
Mhm.
I think out of everything that we've had, or everything that we've prepared, the vegetarian dish is probably my favorite dish
It was
that we
my
came.
favorite too.
Yeah. So we came up with a vegetarian dish that includes 4 or 5 different type of mushroom options.
Mhm.
Um, and we got a chef's mix from a local supermarket. I'm not gonna say their name because they're not paying us to say their name. Um, but we got a
One day they will.
yeah, one day they will,
Put
exactly.
that out there. I'll put that out there.
So we got the mushrooms from there, and it included like 4 to 5 different types of mushrooms, and we just came up with a pasta dish that I kind of just kind of researched and just to kind of see exactly what kind of meshes, and it was impeccable. It was
Mhm.
awesome. Um, if you're not a meat eater, you will enjoy it to the fullest. Even if you are a meat eater, you will probably say, okay, hey, you know what? Let me kind of steer away from this. Let me kind of steer
Mhm.
away from meat when it comes to it. So that's with the vegetarian dish. That's our mushroom dish with cream and parmesan pasta. The second dish was the Tuscan chicken, which is a replay on an Italian dish that comes with tomatoes and spinach. Um, and it's somewhat kind of cream based a little bit, but it's very good, and it's paired with a vegetable orzo that Jocelyn put together.
Mhm.
It meshes together very well. The chicken is seasoned extremely well, and you go from there. You have the salmon dish, which I will give Cheesecake Factory credit. It was an inspiration from there. It's a miso salmon, and
Mhm.
it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. We go to restaurants and we like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. But when you come home, you can make it just with a little time and a little
Mhm.
effort. You can make it,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, wow. And what you'll pay for a dish at Cheesecake Factory, you will be able to
Right.
make at home in probably 2 days out the week. You can eat it, and it's like, okay, wow. And then the
Mhm.
last dish was the Hawaiian um, flank steak.
Mhm.
The flank steak, I mean, simple roasted potatoes that accompanied it, asparagus and everything, but it all took a little time and preparation for
Mhm.
it. And
Mhm.
everything that we made was under $40 at the most.
Now let's talk about that $40.
Uh-huh.
Because when you said, okay, everything we thought of is $40 or is less than $40. Where or why was that kind of your magic number of what you wanted to stay in as far as the ingredients?
So I think with me, and I'm not gonna take too much time of it. I'll let Jocelyn talk into it. But to me, we're looking at different times now.
Absolutely.
We love to go out. We love to go out. We love to impress, especially during this time of February and Valentine's Day. You know, we want to go out and get the 6 strawberries that cost $100. And we want to, get all these things to finesse and to just impress our partner.
Right.
However, my thing is that, okay, hey, let's make it a little bit more impactful. I can impress you, but then 2, we can become more intimate by conversation. We can become more intimate by just being in tune with one another by cooking together. So, okay, let's cook, let's do this, let's do that, and do it from that point. And then when you go out and you price this stuff and you look at, okay, hey, how can I make a meal? Let's look at this. Let's look at different items and everything. And it comes under what you probably would have spent on a $200-$300 night.
Right.
And I'll put it to you like this, and I'm gonna be honest. You get $200-$300, and then tomorrow you still raising hell with each other.
Right.
versus
don't make it an expensive fight, make it a cheap fight.
Make it a cheap fight. Make it a cheap fight, but make it a good fight. But at least, during that time you have you've become one with each other. And that's the biggest thing. And I think it goes back to your initial thing when we started the broadcast, is that becoming one with each other. That's the most important thing in relationship building. And there are so many aspects within our lives that we can utilize to become one with each other. So, yeah.
Right.
And I would add to that, a lot of people are intimidated by cooking. They stick to what they know and what they're used to. And they build their budget off of that, right? But they'll go out to restaurants and spend excessively, and you're coming home, if you didn't finish your meal there, you're coming home with a small portion left over that really you could have finished at the restaurant. From an economical perspective, it's more cost effective to cook at home and to have leftovers to eat the second day or third day. Especially if you're a family of 2 or a family of 4, or how many other people that's living in your household, it is cost effective across the bridge, right? And so what I like about the amount that was provided was that it opened people's eyes to cost effective shopping. You have to just know your ingredients. Right. Study, like my sweet dear started out talking about, study the different types of ingredients that you need. You'll be surprised how economical it is at the end of the day to cook at home. You accompany that with bonding with your partner and creating memories with your partner. It can turn into a family event with your kids. But it's a no-brainer for us. Don't get me wrong. We like to eat out. We like to try. Absolutely. But you can stretch those opportunities of eating out much far apart and make more memories cooking at home with your partner. And, truth be told, you don't know who's in them kitchens.
That's true.
Yeah.
And one thing about me, if I go to a restaurant, I don't want to see the cook. I don't want to see the kitchen. I would rather go in, eat blind, and not know who touched my food, and pray that I don't get food poisoning at the end of the night.
Right.
And I have a 5-minute quota window. If I go out to eat or go somewhere and eat, within 5 minutes, my stomach knows.
Yeah.
My stomach knows. It's like, and I'm pushing away from it. But I mean, it's safer, especially with everything that's happening in the world today. It's just, it's safe, it's economical, and you build memories.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful opportunity to just bond with your partner.
Right. I agree. I think I run into a lot of couples who they want to make their relationships better. They want to learn how to communicate better. They just don't know how. Right. And there's this thought, especially when we get further into the conversation of, well, times are hard. If inflation is real,
Mm-hmm.
I lost my job, or my hours were cut back, or we've had to downsize, um, and I can't afford to take my wife out, or I can't afford to take my partner out
Mm-hmm.
in what I consider to be a fashion that is, oh, I'm trying to be impressive, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so again, those were the conversations I was thinking of in creating the box, because we do look at those ideas of, okay, you don't have to have $200-300 to have meaningful moments.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to break the bank. That's
Mm-hmm.
not what building the relationship is about. So let's give you a cheat sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so really it was me saying, how do I put my concepts into this box? Let's give a dating hack. And then I thought about all the guys I see around Valentine's Day who the day of, they are at the local Publix, the local Kroger's, the CVS, and they are emphatically trying to get flowers or
Mm-hmm.
chocolates or the big bear. And I'm thinking to myself, you missed the big boat. Like, why are you why are you here now getting something that within the next 30 minutes to an hour will hold no significance,
Right.
Mm.
Right.
right?
There's no
So
value in that.
there's no value. So to all the guys who are watching all the NFL, who will be watching Super Bowl, to all the ones who are like my husband, they are stuck on the NBA and all the things that are happening. I thought about all those people
Mm-hmm.
who have not really given a thought maybe to, how can I create these memories with my partner? Because
Yeah.
it's not a lost cause, right? So the encouragement is for people to buy into the box, invest in this, and let it help you invest in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you miss the Valentine's deadline, there's never a bad time to have a date night.
Right.
There's never a bad time to grow the intentionality within your relationship, because at the end of the day, we're becoming healthier,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I will put in the chat when we're done. If people are interested in purchasing the box, we'll put a link in. But as a matter of fact, you really could just go to, if you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram. So if you are on Facebook, you can head to the Love Intentions page, which is Love Intentions Box.
Mm-hmm.
That's Love Intentions Box on Facebook. Or if you are on Instagram, it's the Love Intentions Box. But
Mm-hmm.
on either of those pages, there's a link in the bio that will show you how to purchase the box. Okay. Now, before we wrap up for tonight, I know that there are several people probably thinking, wait, I didn't know they cook, or I didn't know they cook like that. And y'all, if you see the videos, you're going to think you are on the Food Network. So share with people, um what are some things you guys have coming up, or some new things maybe in this lane, because I think people know you in certain lanes, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that you guys are a well kept secret when it comes to being Chef Dez and Chef Joss. So maybe tell people some things that that are happening for you guys.
Well, so right now we're in the beginning stages of what we're doing as far as cooking, because it's we knew it's always been a passion for us, but we've decided to just kind of develop ourselves in that passion. We are looking at doing private events for
Hmm.
couples, no more than two, maybe four couples at the most, that
Okay.
we are trying to cook for. Also, we are looking at doing a barbecue restaurant. here in our local area here in Hampton, Georgia.
Woo!
So that's a big passion for me. So even with this project, working with you, Mel, this was kind of somewhat, not to say out of my box, but it kind of gave me a foresight to how to make things work. Of course, barbecue is my specialty, and I'm more so into a point of just um, getting that out there and kind of going from there. So we have some things working. We're going to ask that you follow me. I'm on a lot of my social media when it comes to my cooking and just things that I do around the house. Comes on my Instagram page at I am that Mr. Mr. McLain, McLain. That's on my Instagram page. And then on my TikTok page, I have Chef Dez 826 Pit. And that's Chef Dez, CHEFDEZ. The number's 826 and Pit. So I'll be hopefully putting a lot of things on there to just kind of display exactly what I'm doing and going from there. I'm not doing anything too big right now. I'm just getting it out there to market it and make sure it works. But I promise you, for those that come on there and you solicit me for anything that you want as far as cooking, I'm not going to disappoint. And just to tell you, I'm very detailed. I'm very strategic. I'll tell anybody, I'll fire my wife when it comes to something she don't want me to do. So for the most part, that's what we're doing. Of course, Jocelyn, she helps in every aspect. She helps in every aspect and just kind of puts me out there. So
I balance it.
Yeah, she balances everything.
Absolutely.
So
give us your Instagram again. You've given us TikTok, which is at Chef Dez 826 Pit. So give everyone your Instagram handle one more time.
So my Instagram handle is I am that Mr. McLain, McLain. Make sure you don't put two C's with it. Only one C. So I am that Mr. McLain. There you go. I am that Mr. McLain. And you can see, a couple items that I kind of do here at the house just to appease my wife and my two daughters. I got a house full of women, so I got to make sure something's coming out here good. So you'll see a couple dishes on there and everything, and I'll try to put more images of everything that I do. So
absolutely, I absolutely love it. I am so appreciative that you both decided to take this journey with creating the Valentine's edition. And of course it's starting as the Valentine's edition because that is this lovers holiday that we're coming up on. But like I said earlier, there's no bad time to have an intentional date night with your partner. So I am really hoping that people will take advantage of purchasing the box. It is a couples box. It is each box. So of course this is the first one, but each box that's created will have that intentional component of helping you build your relationship in whatever you're doing. So I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to have had Chef Dez and Chef Joss helping with this first one with cooking. So make sure you get it. So again, on Instagram, that's the Love Intentions box. And if you are on Facebook, it is Love Intentions box. And on both pages, you're able to find the link to purchase. And I think that is it. We'll put the link also in the chat. Have a great night, everyone.
All right, bye.